welcome to the Deep Dive. You've given us your curiosity and your sources, and our mission, as always, is to extract the core knowledge you need quickly and clearly.
Think of this as your personal briefing, taking complex information and making it digestible so you walk away truly understanding what matters.
Today we're plunging into the intriguing world of digital security and social engineering, our guide. A chapter that unveils the initial moves of a fictional group called La Llama Violeta.
Right. And for you, our listener, who wants to grasp these complex ideas without getting bogged down, this deep dive will show how the often abstract concepts of cybersecurity, play out in a tangible way.
Within a compelling story, yeah.
We're aiming for those aha moments.
Exactly. Our mission is to dissect La Llama Violeta's starting strategies for gathering intelligence and infiltrating their targets. We'll see how they cleverly combine technical skills with an acute understanding of human nature.
Sounds good.
So let's dive in.
Okay, so the story kicks off with the group relocating. They move their operations to an abandoned warehouse.
Right, leaving the apartment setup.
Yeah, and this wasn't just about needing more space. Alberto, who's kind of the driving force, saw it as a significant boost to their security.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
They figured the warehouse offered much better anonymity.
Right.
And multiple ways to slip away if they needed to.
Exactly. Multiple egress points. It's all about creating layers of protection.
Physical layers, too, not just digital.
Precisely. The chapter details the physical security measures they put in place, backup power systems, encrypted comms channels.
Okay.
This immediately tells you they are, a group that takes operating undetected very seriously. It really sets the stage for a sophisticated operation.
And underpinning everything they do is Alberto's core belief, which really struck me. Wow. He believes that no matter how secure your tech is, the human element is always the biggest weakness.
That's the core, yeah. His statement, systems are designed by humans, implemented by humans, and ultimately compromised through humans.
It's quite profound when you think about it.
It really is. A perfectly coded system can be undone by someone simply clicking the wrong link,
Right. It highlights a fundamental truth. Our tech defenses are only as strong as the people using them.
And he makes the point that human traits like trust, curiosity, maybe fear or greed, they're sort of hardwired into us.
Yeah, you can't just issue a software update for those, can you?
No. So this focus on exploiting human vulnerabilities, it's really central to how they operate.
And their initial actions reflect this perfectly. They have a very clear division of labor right from the start.
How so?
Well, Alberto and Sofia, they're the tech experts focusing on the digital perimeters, the firewalls, the code.
Okay.
Mateo's role is all about social engineering, the human manipulation side. And Elena handles intelligence gathering, but through publicly available information, open source intel.
So Alberto and Sofia are immersed in code and networks, the digital stuff.
Right.
While Mateo and Elena are basically doing homework on the targets, building profiles. Exactly. They're digging into the Ministry of Environment and OSE, the fictional state water company.
And not just the technical setup.
No, that's crucial. They're digging into the human side, who works where, their roles, the hierarchy, even like rumored discontents, promotions, demotions.
Trying to find potential weak spots in the personnel.
They're trying to find the people who might be vulnerable or maybe just have the access they need.
And Elena's skill in sifting through public records, online stuff, that becomes really important here.
Absolutely. It's not just about hacking a computer directly. It's understanding the people who hold the keys.
Finding the cracks in the human firewall, as Alberto calls it.
Yeah, it's a great analogy. Think of company security like a wall, but the employees are guarding it. If someone's unhappy, overworked, makes a mistake.
That's a crack.
That's a potential crack they can exploit.
Okay. So while that's happening, Alberto and Sofia start their initial digital probing.
And their first targets are the public-facing websites and portals of the ministry and OSE.
Makes sense. They're the front door, often the easiest to check for weaknesses.
And there's a reason why they can be vulnerable. Alberto explains they're often a patchwork of different systems.
Built over time, maybe?
Yeah, possibly by various companies using older legacy code. Sometimes updates are rushed or, not done properly.
Like an old house with lots of additions, maybe weak spots in the joins.
That's a good way to put it. This complexity can lead to security holes that are easy to miss.
And we see Sofia really grow here, don't we? Under Alberto's guidance.
Yeah, she's moving from just being a coder to thinking like a security analyst. It's a shift in mindset.
They use automated tools, scanners.
Sure, but Alberto stresses going beyond that. Finding the subtle, overlooked vulnerabilities the scans might miss It needs that human touch, that intuition.
So he's teaching her to understand how these things work fundamentally.
Right, so they can spot unexpected ways to interact with them. They're looking for common weaknesses like cross-site scripting or XSS.
Where you sneak code onto a site.
Yeah, that then runs in someone else's browser. Or SQL injection.
Tricking the database into giving up secrets.
Exactly, like slipping a secret instruction into a web form. And also insecure direct object references, like guessing a web address to get someone else's files.
The chapter mentions them crafting custom HTTP requests, like specific letters to the server.
And carefully analyzing the replies, the server responses, looking for anything unusual that signals a vulnerability.
It sounds technical, but the idea is methodical probing.
Very methodical, very detailed. And the synergy is key. Alberto's experience, knowing attack vectors, and Sophia's coding skills to actually test them.
And they have that early success finding an input validation flaw on the ministry's portal.
Yeah, a problem with how the site checks info you enter. It shows their approach works.
Which leads us directly to Mateo's spear phishing campaign.
Right, and this isn't just junk email, it's highly targeted.
Based on all that research he and Elena did.
Absolutely. He's not just spraying emails randomly. He's identifying specific people in the ministry based on their jobs. Maybe online hints of vulnerability?
Like complaints or specific interests they've mentioned online.
Exactly. Things that make them a potential target.
And the emails themselves are carefully crafted.
Very. They look legit, coming from trustworthy sources, compelling subject lines, content relevant to the target's work.
And the fake link, the credential harvesting site, that's disguised too.
Oh, yeah. Made to look like a legitimate place they'd need to log in.
Plus, they're using psychological triggers.
Urgency, authority, professional curiosity, anything to make the person act fast without thinking too hard.
And faking the sender address, spoofing it so it looks like it's from someone trusted.
Standard practice in sophisticated phishing.
Mateo must feel a lot of pressure waiting to see if anyone clicks. It's not just tech, it's psychology.
Definitely. And Alberto's advice on patience, learning from failures. It's a reminder this isn't guaranteed. People are unpredictable.
You have to learn from the misses as much as the hits.
Exactly. Figuring out why an attempt failed is crucial data, too.
And then, bang, they get their first win.
Yeah, someone clicks. A project manager in the Department of Industrial Oversight at the ministry opens the email, clicks the link, enters their login details.
Bingo. It's a small step, but it's that first crucial access.
It gives them that foothold, like Alberto says. Not the treasure trove yet, but a way in. Access to a shared departmental drive.
A starting point to explore the internal network.
Right, and once they have those initial credentials, Alberto and Sophia start what they call the real work.
Moving inside the ministry's network. Trying to find the keys to the castle.
And they move slowly, carefully, like digital ghosts, trying not to trigger any alarms.
Mapping the network, identifying internal servers.
Looking for misconfigurations, unpatched services, anything they can use to get more powerful access. What's called privilege escalation.
Going from basic user to admin, essentially.
That's the goal. And they're incredibly careful about their own security while doing this.
Using tools like Tor and VPNs. Digital disguises and tunnels.
Yeah, to hide their internet activity, encrypting all their communications, and compartmentalizing information within the group.
So if one gets caught, it doesn't expose everyone.
Exactly. Need-to-know basis.
And Sophia keeps developing. Writing her own scripts for reconnaissance.
Yeah, custom tools. And her technique for getting data out is clever, hiding tiny bits of data within regular-looking DNS requests.
Using the internet's phone book system to whisper data out. Basically.
Kind of. It's subtle, hard to detect, low and slow.
Amidst all this intense technical stuff, the chapter touches on the connection between Alberto and Sophia.
Yeah, the pressure, the shared intellectual excitement. It seems to be building a bond.
A silent language of logic and code, it says.
It's an interesting way to put it. They're working so closely, they almost anticipate each other in the digital realm.
There's that moment Mateo suggests going physical, planting a USB drive.
And Alberto shoots it down immediately. Too risky? Reinforces the digital ghosts strategy.
Minimize physical exposure at all costs.
Right. Their strength is in remote, stealthy operations.
Then Alina makes a discovery while analyzing the exfiltrated data.
Emails pointing to problems within OSE, the water company. An engineer raised concerns about procurement irregularities.
That got shut down by superiors.
Seems like it. This disgruntled engineer becomes a person of interest.
A potential inside source. Someone who might be willing to talk or leak info.
Exactly. If they feel ignored or wronged internally.
But reaching out is risky. They codename him Nada.
Huge risk. But the potential payoff, getting direct internal info, is massive.
Alberto's cautious, though, given his own past as a whistleblower.
Understandably, he knows the dangers.
Yeah.
So the plan is careful. Matteo creates an anonymous persona, contacts Nada via encrypted email.
And Sophia sets up a secure, one-time use digital dead drop for file uploads.
Yeah, a secure mailbox that can't easily be traced back to them.
That first email from Matteo is subtle, just referencing public water quality issues.
Just testing the waters, seeing if Nada responds. Waiting must have been tense.
Nada's first reply is guarded, testing Matteo's affiliations.
Which Alberto sees as a good sign, actually. Shows Nada is cautious, not reckless.
So begins this slow process of building trust. Matteo maintaining his activist persona.
Using verifiable but maybe overlooked public info to build credibility. Slowly, Nada starts opening up, hypothetically, about pressures within OSE.
It's fascinating how much patience this social engineering takes.
Absolutely. And you see Alberto's mix of admiration and anxiety watching Matteo work this angle. It's unpredictable.
While Matteo's working the human angle, Alberto and Sophia have another tech win.
Right. They find an outdated development server. Forgotten, maybe.
Apparently. And it has cached credentials for a database administrator stored on it.
A classic mistake. Complacency, maybe reused passwords. It happens more than you'd think.
Takes some time to crack the password hash.
But they get it, and it gives them access to more important interconnected database servers. Still not critical systems, but another step deeper.
Getting closer.
Closer. And their data exfiltration stays low and slow. Small chunks, disguised as routine traffic, encrypted backups, sent through multiple exit nodes.
Patience and stealth are key.
Crucial for long-term success, avoiding detection.
Alberto's paranoia about operational security OPSEC keeps coming up.
It's not paranoia if they really are after you, right? The detailed logging, the anonymizing tools, disposable virtual machines.
It all comes from his past experiences, presumably.
Seems likely, his mantra. Assume you are being watched. Leave no trace. Be a ghost. That sums it up.
The warehouse sounds intense. A crucible.
Yeah, intense focus, collaboration. Elena cataloging data, Matteo practicing social engineering dialogues, Alberto and Sophia in that almost telepathic coding partnership.
And that personal connection between Alberto and Sophia deepens.
The narrative calls it a romance written in lines of shared code. It's more than just work colleagues.
Sophia seems empathetic towards Alberto's past trauma.
Yeah, and he starts, slowly, to lower his guard with her, though trust is hard for him.
But the mission comes first.
Always. But that undercurrent is there, adding another layer.
Then comes the really big discovery. Draft environmental reports.
Found on one of those less critical database servers they accessed. Heavily redacted, marked strictly confidential.
And they show higher pollution levels in a river tributary. Much higher than publicly admitted.
Exactly. Higher levels of industrial pollutants, specifically linked to a controversial permit granted to a major agrochemical company, which was a secondary target for them.
Wow. So the stakes just jumped massively.
Huge leap. From procedural issues or corruption to a potential cover-up with serious public health consequences.
The danger level goes way up. Secrecy becomes paramount.
Absolutely. You feel Alberto's sense of responsibility intensify for his team and for this explosive truth.
But draft reports aren't solid proof.
Right. They need more. Communications, final versions, evidence of who ordered the suppression.
So they start digital archaeology.
Picking apart the files, looking for hidden metadata, deleted comments, author info, any digital breadcrumbs.
Painstaking work.
Very. And Sophia finds something. Embedded routing slips within a PDF's metadata.
Routing slips. Like showing who it was sent to.
Exactly. Detailing the document's path through ministry heads with timestamps, approval codes.
And the crucial part.
She links a final approval code to a senior aide of the Vice Minister of Environment. They found that link through a partially compromised employee directory they'd accessed earlier.
That's huge. A direct link high up the chain.
Massive breakthrough. Testament to Sophia's persistence digging beneath the surface.
There's that moment after Sophia squeezes Alberto's arm. A shared look.
Yeah, a small moment, but significant. That human connection breaking through the intensity.
Alberto even shows a bit of softness, acknowledging her work.
And she credits his guidance. It's mutual respect, maybe something more, but fleeting. Back to work.
This new lead energizes everyone, right?
Definitely. Matteo starts crafting a targeted social engineering plan for the Vice Minister's aide. Elena researches the aide connections, motivations.
And Alberto and Sophia keep diving deeper, but the risk is climbing. Defenses get tougher higher up.
For sure. So they tighten their own security even more. Daily key changes, hourly IP rotation, constant monitoring.
Alberto's determined not to repeat past mistakes.
Vigilance is cranked up to 11.
The hideout is described as a living entity, the team bound by purpose and these complex relationships.
Yeah, the digital ghosts are getting bolder, more confident, but they know the phantoms of the state are likely hunting them now.
The line between hunter and hunted starts blurring.
It does. The pressure is relentless. You see the small rituals helping them cope, Elena's mate ceremony, Mateo's humor.
And for Alberto, the collaboration with Sofia is his anchor.
Seems that way. He starts opening up more to her about his past, his fears.
He even confesses worrying that breaking things is all he's good for.
Yeah, a moment of real vulnerability. And Sofia's response is quite profound, that they're fixing a broken system, building hope. It clearly resonates with him.
As they gather more evidence, that sense of impending confrontation grows.
It feels inevitable. They're not just probing anymore. They're building a case to take down powerful figures.
The digital ghosts are becoming a tangible threat.
And Alberto feels that window of opportunity closing. He pushes the team harder. Perfection is demanded.
We are ghosts, and ghosts don't make mistakes.
That's his constant refrain. The weight of leadership, the responsibility, it's immense.
And the chapter ends with him feeling that weight, not just for the mission and the team, but also the personal stakes, particularly his growing feelings for Sofia.
Yeah, it leaves you on edge, understanding the immense pressure they're all under.
So wrapping up this deep dive into La Llama Violeta's start, we've seen this really fascinating blend of technical skill and social engineering.
Absolutely. Their early wins come from meticulous planning, understanding both digital and human weaknesses, and this obsessive commitment to stealth.
And for you, our listener, we hope this story has, brought some of these cybersecurity concepts to life.
Right. Moving beyond just definitions to show how critical human behavior is on both sides, attack and defense.
So here's a final thought to consider. When you think about protecting sensitive information, which do you feel is the weaker link? The technology itself or the people using it?
And what does that imply about where we should focus our efforts, our resources for better security?
It's worth mulling over. Consider, too, how these fictional scenarios might mirror real events, that ongoing, often invisible, battle between information seekers and concealers.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.